It's one of probably the last blue sky weekends, and I am fixing this patch over here, sanding, fairing, priming, painting, repeat a couple times probably. We'll see. It depends. I really only have this weekend to do it because otherwise it's going to start raining. And then these as well. So all of this here, that here, back there, and right there, those are all the 4 points of support that take our frame for our hard Dodger and goes up around about here. And then we have pieces of canvas that come up here. And then from about this point of the boat, the hard Dodger ends, and then the bimini goes back here. So all super important stuff for winter, keep the rain and snow off, and then we can take down this tarp that we've been living with. So that is the primary goal for this weekend. No guarantees that it's going to be perfect or 100% done. We're just trying to get it up before the rain starts, but today it's just so beautiful out today. So let's use the weather while we've got it. Okay. This is feeling pretty good. This radius back here was a little tough to get. It's not like factory smooth like this, but it's good enough. It's interesting, you can see the where I traced the size of the cloth here with a Sharpie with these little marks. And then you can see the wood core patch that I put in there. You can see the thickened epoxy that I had around the edges. The glass on top's feeling pretty good. Yeah, so tools I used, this guy, oscillating tool, and this guy, little, I don't know, what do you call this, die grinder or something? Rotary tool. Rotary tool to get into this radius here. This guy did most of the flats. So yeah, it worked out pretty well. So next step is get this cleaned up. Oh, tools also, of course, vacuum. Get this cleaned up with some acetone, and we will start fairing it. We'll bring out the fairing here and I'll show you what I'll use there. So be right back. Okay, got the easy fair out. 2 parts to 1 part. Seems pretty simple to use. And yeah, so just mix your stuff together well and follow the instructions. So I've read the instructions a couple times and seems pretty straightforward. The only thing it doesn't say is curing time. And I know that depends on temperature, but usually there's like a chart of like temperature, humidity, and then curing time. But yeah, I've heard good things about this stuff, and it was on sale over the summer, so I picked it up and now we're going to use it, and let's see how it goes. Okay, got the fairing compound in. It's a little bit windy, so there's some debris from the trees falling in there, but that's okay, it'll come up when I sand it. It worked pretty good. I think this side is a little bit better because it's a smaller patch, but it's working okay. I noticed that when I was using like a applicator like this, I noticed that it was easier to just like kind of make quick things and really get it in there rather than like a smooth and long strokes. These quick strokes were better. And then, you know, I was wearing gloves, and to get into the radius back here, I just used my finger, and that was okay. Yeah, so I think it went well. So next step is wait for that to dry and sand it, prime it, paint it, and probably some sanding in between. So far so good. While this is drying, our epoxy is drying, I'm gonna focus on these guys. So this one's missing, there's 4 of them that we've got to replace. The rest of these are still holding on. But these are stainless, and this frame is aluminum, and aluminum will corrode around stainless, and so that is what we have here. So these little guys have just popped right out. So fortunately, we have some new ones to put in there. So when we take a new one and we put it in the hole, there's nothing for it to grab onto. And this position here is lined up with the canvas that snaps in right here. So it's not like we can just move it over. So what we're gonna do is take some like steel stick type putty, mix it up, force it in there, get that cured nice and tight, and then we'll just drill a new hole for our new hardware. So double bonus: 1, we don't have to replace this frame, and 2, it's going to act as an insulator between the aluminum and the stainless steel hardware, so it won't corrode anymore. So we'll do that while our fairing epoxy is drying. Okay, so here's something funny. I'm cleaning out these holes so I can put my fix-it stick, this stuff, in there. And I noticed along this channel, like right there was chunks of wood, like that one right there. All this was chunks of wood in there. So maybe what happened was when the boat was being trucked to Portland, could it have hit a branch? And then this, because this is the highest point of the boat, and then this, maybe it knocked off a few of these. Sure, maybe. But this is still really bad. So I'm glad we're gonna fix them. The rest of these are pretty nice and tight. So I'm just picking out the old aluminum here, making sure we're working with good solid metal. Clean it up with some acetone, and then I'll start putting some of this putty in there, and then we'll drill out the hole and put in a new one of those. Okay, we've got our putty in. I kind of wanted to show you guys something too. So here's a piece of putty extra that I didn't use. Listen to this. It's like super hard as a rock. So we'll give these guys. So there's one there, one there. We'll give it one over there, and then there's one around the corner. We'll give that a little bit to dry, eat some lunch. And it's still really, really windy. Look, that's the most, I think this is the windiest consistent wind we've had since we've been here. And I had this surprise. This branch, that's how windy it is, flew out of the trees over here. That's a long ways. Like, It's probably 100 feet away, and this branch made it all the way over here. It's a decent sized branch. But we don't have to clean it up because we don't have a yard. Yeah, so it's good. That putty's good stuff. I was thinking about the last time I used something like that was to patch the gutters at our house. And I was thinking how I didn't have to deal with gutters, which is cool. This time of year I would have been cleaning them out. But yeah, now all I gotta deal with is branches falling on our boat. I'd rather have branches falling on our boat than cleaning out gutters. Alright, I'm gonna go have some lunch. Okay, so this is our hard Dodger like cover. So it goes right here. And it has this frame. Okay. And the frame, where it rested here, this is the underside of it. Even though it's stainless, it caught moisture in between the two materials. The moisture sat and caused some rust. So what we're gonna do is try to get that cleaned up. Okay, so scrub that clean. Still obviously some rust spots, but I think it was better than it was before. So now what we're doing is waiting for the fairing compound to dry, which is taking a long time. And because of the wind, I got all kinds of leaves and debris in it. But it's coming along. It's been about 3.5 hours since I put it down, and it's definitely less tacky. So I'm gonna probably just give it another hour and then maybe start sanding. We'll see. Yeah, so we're kind of on track. Here we are, another dry day. Today is Sunday. No wind today so far, so that's great. And what I'm doing is, this is the hard Dodger. And I have this support mocked up. It's not the final hardware, and I haven't butylled anything yet. It's just in there to hold things together, because this support, I've also got temporary hardware in there and no butyl. On that side was fine. I could find the holes there. But when we come over to here, I can't find the holes. So right now it's just sitting here on the towel to keep this from scratching the gel coat. But it's important to know where the holes go here, because these holes here line up with the holes here. So I can't drill that until I know that these holes line up with where they're supposed to go there. So right now the hard Dodger cover is just resting on this back support, and then I'm gonna put these in where they need to go. So this whole thing will slide forward, and then that bolts, this flange here bolts into that, and then I have this one on this side to come up. So that'll hopefully give me enough stability, and it'll be back in its original position with those, and then I'll be able to line up the holes and then do my drill there to find the appropriate place to drill. So that's what we're doing, and we'll check in a little bit. Okay, so we've got this, the hard Dodger on. That seagull up there. Hey, you guys got any food? What you doing down there? Can I give a hand? Or a wing? Just kidding. Okay, spirits are looking up. Oops. So it's got a nice stainless steel grab handle that's through bolted to here. So I have both sides through bolted. Devin came out and helped me connect these down. So I held this, it's kind of heavy, and then she was back here connecting it there and there. This handle is through bolted there, and then you can see the other through bolt sticking out there, and that through bolt needs to go through here. So this bar is kind of way out of place right now, so that's got to go forward a bit. But once I get those in, I think that'll be enough bolts to make sure all of our other holes are lined up good enough to where I can finally drill my holes for this base down here. But yeah, so far so good. The next step is connect these through bolts into the inner support bar, and then we're going to test fit our canvas to make sure that still fits, because there's canvas pieces that zip in right here and then they snap in along the edge of each of these frames. So whoa. Great Blue Heron was pissed. Okay, let's keep going. Hard Dodger update. Didn't happen. It's right there. It's in a better state than it was when the weekend started, but as you can tell, it's not on. So the reason was I had to stop was because when I got it on, had some bolts in, and then I started making sure that the canvas pieces that attach from here up and here up would fit, and they wouldn't fit. So I had to talk with Devin, and we made a decision to stop. So that's what we did. I did plug holes though, so those, check this out. That was my version of peel ply with the duct tape. Some right there too. We'll see. I don't know if it'll work, but I just kind of wanted to get it smoothed out, and so I tried duct tape. Alright, so now trusty tarp is going to go back over the cockpit. It's not big enough, and I don't know if we're going to have another day like today anytime soon. So I'm also looking for big tarps, because this one doesn't, it only covers to about like right here. So not good enough. So I want a tarp that goes from the boom down to maybe like that rail, or even the tow rail, and then do that on both sides. So I'm going to be looking for tarps. And then that project is on the to-do list for another day. Days. Sunny days. Dry days. Yeah. That's the way it goes. Alright. So today is Sunday. We are in the calm before the storm. There's predicting in a couple hours it'll be 34 knots gusting, like 15 sustained, 34 knots gusting. So I just came out here to check the dock lines and see how we're doing. All right, so it's hailing too. This is why we tied down the dock lines earlier. Pretty impressive. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode.